Well, good morning. I haven't seen you for a while. I hope y'all are doing all right. I thought I'd get on here because what I'm noticing is I have been watching some of my clients off and on for going on. Watching them and observe. They haven't been in counseling the whole time, but off and on. And I'm from a small community. Before I moved here, but I still have connections. So I've been watching and even participating at some level with 3 generations of folks. So I've gotten good baby. You're such a good boy. You coming up? Say hi, Frankie. Hi, Frankie. Good boy. Good boy. Hello. Oh, he's got a treat. So he's not going to be real happy to have me messing with him. But he's such a good boy. Okay, so generational. There are people who still have a hard time understanding that kids know what's going on. They might not know the exact details, but they know that something's wrong. And kids must have someone to blame. And remember when you were a kid, who did you blame? Either someone close to you, bully a kid at school, blame them. But little kids blame themselves first. That's right. They blame themselves first. Now that's a truth that I thought is worth repeating, reminding folks of. The other one is people really believe that their kid is going to do as I say, not as I do. Your kid might swear their whole childhood that they'll never be like their parent. They'll never yell and scream like their parent. They'll never treat people like their parent does. That they'll be more open-minded, not so narrow-minded. That they'll give more freedoms to their kid. That they'll have a loving relationship with their spouse and their other children. They won't be selfish. They'll buy their kids things. But the truth is, almost always behave a lot like that parent. That's the truth. If you let your spouse verbally abuse you, emotionally, sexually abuse you, then it stands to reason your kids have been taught, just like you were, just take a little more. Wait, maybe don't believe yourself. Maybe you're wrong. So you teach your child to doubt themselves. You teach them the kind of stress level they can use, or how much they can drink, or how many times they go to the doctor. It's true. You teach your child a lot. You can't help it. That's even if you try to keep the biggest secrets, your kids know something's wrong. And they're going to blame themselves for it, of course. I'm not quite sure. But there's also ways that your children learn the beautiful things from you. The things that make you go, "Aw," right? They're also learning those things from you, like self-care. How often you take a break. How often you laugh. They learn, what am I doing here? I'm going to try this one. They learn what level of honesty is appropriate. Not socially acceptable, appropriate for your approval. That's right. Appropriate for your approval. Not what's right or wrong. It's what they can get away with. And you're teaching them how to get away with it. That's right. You're teaching them how to rely on a partner, a spouse. And if you say, "Oh no, I tell them different," or "I didn't mean for them to see that," kids don't have to see it. They can feel it on the other side of walls. They can smell it in the air. That's the truth. I'm bringing this up because when people come into therapy, I had a client tell me this yesterday. It was so cute. Something about, "Well, I know when people go into therapy, they always blame it on their parents." He goes, "I don't mean to do that, but I did learn some of this from my parents." And I was like, I appreciate your insight. You just kept us from spending a half an hour or more on attachment styles. Good job. And it's true. I mean, it's not that it's that particular human being's fault you're messed up. Well, in some cases, I'm going to say, you didn't get the parents I would have picked for you. I mean, hi. You deserve a better parent than me, too, don't you? You're such a good boy. Oh, my God, that dog shits. But I love him for lots of other reasons. So as a dog parent, I'm trying not to, I don't try to make him feel guilty for shedding so much. I'm a little more mature than that. I know I can be aggravated with the hair, so I try to make sure he feels loved in other ways so he doesn't develop a complex, right? So it's about being honest and not pretending. So touch and base, because if you have a kid or you're taking care of your grandkids or you're a babysitter who puts in a lot of time, understand that it's hard being on all the time to be a good role model for a kid. So that's why it's kind of a good idea to just don't take shortcuts. Do your own work. Go ahead and resolve some of those anger issues or low self-esteem issues or it's not about being a perfect role model. It isn't. It's about being a good enough, just good enough, right? I have kids, I have young people come in who were taught to be brave, be tough, but they weren't taught how to have an intimate relationship. Into me, see. I'm going to allow you to see me, hear me, and I am going to ask you to be there for me. They don't know how to do that, and it's one of the most beautiful things a human being can experience. There are some human beings who will go their whole life without having that. And sometimes people get it from a therapist. I'm like, good job. Are you going to allow me to see you and teach you how to achieve this kind of connection, once it's developed, achieve this kind of connection with someone real in your life? Whether you start dating or already have a spouse and kids, who are you going to be? See, I learned that not from my parents, but from Alcoholics Anonymous. That's where I learned it. I did not have any idea how to be vulnerable. That word, the V word, is so overused. But it just means allowing someone to know me. That's all it means. You don't have to big deal it. Good grief. Just allow someone to get to know you. That's all it is. A lot of times, parents will be so wrapped up in, does the house look nice enough for company? And it's like, when was the last time you played with your kids in the yard? Or if the weather was bad, to sit down and play a game of cards on the floor or whatever. When are you teaching them that it's more important to be a doer? Oh, I got to do this, I got to do that. Or are you teaching them that it's important that even if your house is a mess, it's not filthy. There's not bugs and rats running around, right? That's all that matters. Kids just want to be loved. And honestly, that's all a woman wants from her husband, or a husband wants from his wife. He just wants to know that you're paying attention. Paying attention. When somebody walks in the door, whether it's a kid or a spouse, they want the person in the room to turn around and say, hey, welcome home. Can I get you a glass of iced tea? True story. That's a true story. Believe me. Do I have my curling iron on? Yeah, because I have to do something with a little something with that, I think. Okay. Lips are a little pink for the level of orange in my cheeks. There, add a little bit of orange. Oh, mascara. Okay. So, what am I venting about today? Who are you really? What's underneath the I'm brave, I'm strong, I'm a bad bitch? I mean, I've got this expensive closet full of expensive clothes and purses. I've got the show going on. I take the best cookies to throw the best parties, whatever, you know? But who are you? Does anyone know? Does anyone know who you are? Wouldn't it be nice if you could just have... And your kids are your easiest bet. If you're hard to get along with, if you're persnickety, if you're quirky, your kids are your best bet to have friends. It doesn't guarantee it. And you should always be your kid's parent, not their friend, right? I just mean companion. Very often, if you're a decent, good enough parent, your kids will be your companion later in life. They won't want to go too long without seeing you. Is it a guarantee? No, but it's like any investment. It's like any investment. You know, you put in the work, hope for the best. My favorite headband. That's all I'm saying. God, I feel so sorry for these people calling. Their parents got married to somebody and they'll buy their own bio kids fantastic gifts, but not the stepchild. Seriously, that's what these kids remember. And it happens more often than you think. You think it's just an bad after school story, you know, off Life TV. No, it actually, I mean, I hear about it happening often when I'm working with people. You know, this is about as much as I'm going to do today. I got to get going. So think about what kind of role model you are for the kids in your life. Even if they're the neighbors. I don't know. If you're in somebody's life fairly consistently, just be aware. And even more importantly than that, ask yourself, who are you really underneath all that fear or anger or show, the mask? Who are you under the mask? Mwah. Okay. Have a day. Bye for now.